In the last episode, we designed our Pixar-style character using AI, generating perfect front, side and back view reference images. Today, we will take those images and turn them into a high-quality 3D model, using Hunyuan 3D 3.0, taking advantage of its new part-segmentation feature to get the best results possible. In addition to that, I will show you how to clean it up inside Blender by fixing the geometry, smoothing the surfaces and preparing it for the next production steps. Having said that, let's dive right into it. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Philip from Pixel Artistry. I'm a professional 3D artist exploring the world of AI-powered 3D generation. In this second episode of my AI to production ready series, we are finally bringing our AI character into 3D space. I will guide you step by step through generating the body, clothing and accessories separately using Hunyuan 3D's multi-view feature and show you how to export everything at the highest possible quality. After that, we will jump into Blender to fix the scaling, merge overlapping parts, smooth the mesh and clean up tricky areas like the knees, face and shoes in our example. So by the end of this video, you will have a clean 3D model that is ready for retopology, UVs and texturing for the upcoming episodes. So let's get started. Okay, so now to generate our 3D model, I'm choosing here Hunyuan 3D 3.0. In case you don't know Hunyuan 3D 3.0 yet, I also did a previous video about it as one of my last videos about the new update. So in case you would like to learn more about it, then you can directly check that out there. Otherwise, I will also now explain you step by step how you can generate your 3D model in Hunyuan 3D. And what we need to do actually is that we go to 3d.hunyuan.tencent.com, and as well you need to log in with or register with an account if you haven't yet. You can simply just put in your email and then you will get a code and then you can directly log into your account. And the great thing about Hunyuan 3D is that they offer you 20 free generations a day, so you can definitely check this out for free without paying anything, which is really cool. And then you can directly generate your model on this website here. And what we can do now is, since we prepared our images from the last episode, so from part 1, and you can see them all here. And what we are going to do is first generating our body model. So what we're going to do once we're here on the website is that we navigate to multiple images, and then we will choose here the front view, side view and back view and so on. And as you can see, this is also explained here, even though it's right now in Chinese. So as you can see, it's just saying about the requirements here. Then we can go to upload images, and now we can go to our upscale section, because I also upscaled all of them with the ComfUI workflow I like that I showed you in the last video. So what you can do then is that we go again to front view and then upload our images now. And then once I upload the JPEG, as you can see, it's uploading now. This might take a few seconds, but then it will pop up here at one point. So let's see. Okay, great. And you see now they are all uploaded here. Then we can choose version 3. Make sure, of course, multiple images is selected. Then we're going here for a face count of 1.5 million, and we will choose here geometry and texture. And then what we can do is hitting here generate immediately, and this will then directly start the 3D geometry creation for you and the texturing. So it will create a high poly mesh for you with all the details from the body. And while this is loading here, I will then also go in here and then do the same for our cloth. And for this one, I will then also just hit here generate with the same settings basically, and wait here as well for the final result. Alright, and once the generation is done, as you can see, we have our character here, our body model, and it's really great, like the detail we are getting here. We won't care too much about the texturing yet, for example on his eyes here, because they seem a bit broken, but that's no problem because we will redo the eyes anyways later on when we do the retopology. And overall this is really great, and we see that we get a very nice defined shape here, and this is perfect perfect for our retopology then in a later episode. So this is really cool, and we can already download this model and save it for us. So we'll just go over here. It doesn't matter really which format, but best one is in my case here GAB. So we'll just download this one, and then as you can see it will also pop up here. We can just simply let this download and make sure that once it's downloaded that you also rename the file so that you find it again. So in this case it's this one here, so we'll just rename it to something like man body, and then to just copy it to the place where you will find it again. Okay, and next step is then that we also look at our cloth, and as you can see here it's also working great. And we can actually see that we have here like some filled in geometry, but that's also no problem, because when we're going to topologize our mesh, we can either delete those ones here, or we just do the retopology on top that it ends here, and then we have a unsolid mesh in the middle, because we will obviously place our body here in the middle. So this is what we need to upload it again into Hunyuan 3D Studio. By the way, I have put together a detailed PDF checklist for you with all the steps, direct workflow links and tools I'm using in this workflow. So in case you would like to follow along with this checklist, make sure to check out the video link description, and then I will directly mail you the checklist for you for free. Having said that, let's directly continue with the video. Alright, so I decided to regenerate one time the cloth, and as you can see now it worked, that we have these holes and this mesh that is not solid anymore. So this is great, because now it fits way better when we then place our body inside of the mesh. And what we do next is that we go to our front page, and once we did that, what we can do is then going here to 3D Studio. In case you don't have access yet to the Hunyuan 3D Studio beta version, what you could do alternatively is to upload then your mesh into AI, for example, and then to the part segmentation there, which is also working great. I'm just using it here because we are already in Hunyuan 3D, so it's just handy to stay in here. So once we're here, what we can do is then just click on this wizard here and then translate our page again by right click and then changing it here. By the way, I'm here in Chrome, so there's an auto translator, and that helps of course with translation thing. And as you can see, I did that here as a test already, but we will do the same now from scratch. So what I will do is that I'm going here to component splitting on the left side, as you can see here, and then it requires us to upload a model. So I will do that quickly by clicking here, and we will see them in a second here. This might take a while because the mesh is quite high poly right now, but it should be there in a few minutes latest. And once we have it inside of Hunyuan 3D, then we can separate it quickly, and it won't take that long then anymore until we then have the final result. Alright, and once uploaded, as we can see, we can now split the model finally, and we can do that by going here simply by clicking split immediately, and then it will already start our automatic part segmentation. Alright, and as you can see, it split it now successfully, and we have now our shirt split as well as the belt, which is great, and the shorts as well. We can also split them here and then view them side by side. It's also cool that it extracted this one, because then it will be easier to retopologize this part later on. But for now, I think this is a great base. And also downloading this part here by first translating it and then going back here. By the way, what you could do totally is, for example, if you would like to change a range or something from, for example, his foot now, if we would like to combine those parts or see that there's a huge bigger range, what we can do is draw a boundary box and then say maybe that this boundary box should be larger. So we will just drag this part here, then it will go over here, and we can also scale it here a bit. And like this, you can then adjust your bounding box selection kind of. And then we could go here to boundary generation, and then it would regenerate this one specific part. And as you can see, it's then going into the queue again. And what you can see then is that our foot here, like the shoe, got extended from the selection, which is great. And this is how you can basically adjust then those parts if you want. So now next step is for sure that we are going in here and download all our parts. So we will just select the whole mesh group or all parts I think this is not even necessary when I see it correctly. So we just go here and then to download, and then we can download our FBX file. And now it's finally time to go into Blender. Alright, so once we are in Blender, I deleted the cube first by actually just deleting it with X. And what we can do then is go to File, Import, and then going to FBX. And then we can choose from our downloads the most recent file, which is the cloth that we just generated. And as you can see, we then have all our parts here in Blender separate, which is great. And you can see that we can all select them manually, shift them around by pressing G on the keyboard. And also here on the bottom, we have now our shoes, which we can merge in a second. I will show you this in detail. And let's first import also our body. So we will also do that by going to import, file import GLB this time, because we exported it as a GLB model. Then we're going to the folder where we saved it in the first place, which is in this case for me here. And then as you can see, once it's exported, we have a few things now that we can actually adjust and fix on our model. So first thing is that we need to have the right scale in Blender to have real world scale, because for a production ready 3D model, it's crucial that we have the correct real world scale in Blender to then, when it reacts to lighting and different materials, that it then reflects realistically, because we want to have the best result possible, of course. So before we actually adjust the scale itself, it's important that we rename our files and sort them a bit. So we can just roughly for now scale him up maybe a bit, just to see him a bit better, or move him to the side for now. And what we can do, first thing is rename now the parts. So we will call this one body. Then we can here decide which parts to merge now. So for example, the shoes here, I would merge this shoe together by selecting both parts over here and then hitting Ctrl and J. And I will do the same over here, selecting both with Shift and then hitting Ctrl and J. And as you can see, they are merged now, and it's always a good technique that you also rename them after left and right. So this would be shoe left and this is shoe right, like this. And now we can also rename our shorts, which is this one. So I would just call it shorts or trousers, whatever. And then this is our belt and this is our shirt. All right, and then we see that we also have here the additional part. So I can call this shirt additional, maybe just for this one. And here for those parts, this we can actually also join with the shirt together, because it doesn't really matter to have them separately. So we would just merge this. Maybe we can here scale it up even a bit more, so that we have kind of an overlap here, that it doesn't crash or something. So let's scale it up a bit more, maybe like this. Here on the other side, it seems to work kind of correctly when I see it correctly here. Yeah, this seems to be better, working better. So we will mirror this anyways in the end to have symmetry here, but for now this is fine like it is right now. And let's also join them together by selecting them all and then hitting Shift and then Ctrl and J. Then we say shirt in general. And the last part we need to rename is this one, and this one we could also merge with our shirt together. And as you can see, we renamed now every part, each part. This is important for later on for our rigging, for example, but also retopology and so on. So I would just group them over here. And now it's important that we also make a collection with right click and then call this collection just high poly, something like this, so that we have them for later and can easily recognize them, that this is the high poly meshes that we have at the moment. And this one we can now set back into position. So we will just set the location to 0 again. And what we're gonna do next is that we know, looking at the scale that we have right now in Blender, we can do this by going to scene over here, then to units. And as you can see, it's to metric right now. And I will adjust the length for now so we can easier recognize this. So I will change this from meters to centimeters like this. And now we can create a cube by hitting Shift A and then saying here cube. So let's see, just that you get a sense of the scale itself. And as you can see, this is our cube right now. When we would measure this cube, how tall it is actually right now is that we're going first hitting 1 on the numpad and then going to the measure tool that we have over here. And now I could easily just draw a line from the bottom to the top like this by holding left mouse button. And as you can see, it's more or less 200 centimeters high. It's not completely accurate here, so if you would snap it, it's even more accurate, but it's 200 centimeters. And our character would be around, let's say 184 or something, so kind of my size I am in real life. So let's see when I hide all the other parts for now, except for the body. So let's hide those parts here first. Let's keep the cube and the belt like this. And when I would go now again into front view and then choose my measure tool, and then I will set it here, and then I will just drag it along at the top part. So let's see when I drag it, and then I can drag it until I'm at 183, 84, something like this. Whatever the average height would be, it could be also a bit smaller. For example, let's maybe say 180. This is also a good value, like an average value for a man. So more or less, depends on your country, of course, and everything else. So anyways, we can now scale it up and see that we have it then here. I will just press S and then I can drag it until we have it then at 180. And as you can see, now we have our character in the right scale. And the great thing is now where we have set it, we can first apply our scale by pressing Ctrl and A and then saying here scale and all transforms maybe. And as you can see right now, this scale is then set, because before it was set like this, but now we freeze kind of the scale and the transforms, and now this is his default position kind of. Next thing is that we now also scale all the other parts. So I will take his shirt, for example. Here we can judge by eye for the size of it. So I will just make sure that it's origin, because as you can see, when I isolate him with pressing on the numpad, we can see that right now the origin is here and we want to change that. So I go to Object, Set Origin, and then Origin to Geometry. And then as you can see, I can scale it in the center of the model. So we'll go back to each part, then I will scale it up, going to the front view. And now I can set it more or less that it fits. So like this. And as you can see, his shirt fits him now very well. Next, we're going to do that for all the other parts as well. So I will do that quickly. All right. And once I have scaled all of them, what I can do next is that I first go to freeze all of them. So I will just select all of them and then hitting Ctrl A and all transforms. And as you can see, now all of them have 0 values here, which is great. Next thing, what we can see is that we have a few issues that we need to fix next. Obviously, for example, the shoes are crashing into our shorts, into our trousers, what we don't want. And as well, we have here some spots around his pelvis where things are crashing, and as well on his head. As you can see, we have this not smooth, let's say unsmoothed areas here, and I will also show you quickly how to fix that, so that in the end we have a clean high poly mesh that we can then in the end retopologize it then in the next episode. By the way, I just wanted to take a quick moment to give a quick shout out to Stefan 3D AI Lab, because he is also as passionate as me about AI 3D Gen, and I can highly recommend to check out also his channel in case you would like to learn more about AI to 3D, because we try to support each other to deliver you the best AI content possible in the 3D AI space. Besides that, also of course make sure to join my free newsletter FutureFrames to be the first one to learn more about new AI to 3D workflows, which I will link you right down below this video. Thanks as always guys for your support. Having said that, let's continue with the video. Alright, so first thing we want to do is to shorten our pants that we have over here. So what we're going to do is first we're going into front view like this with 1 on the numpad. Then we're choosing our pants that we have over here. And then what I will do is go into front view and then going into edit mode by pressing tab. And what I can do then is that we're choosing both like dragging and then choosing the area that we have over here to select them. Then we could even go into proportional editing and choosing here smooth. And what we can then do is basically dragging them up to shorten them then overall. So I will do this quickly by just pressing G and Z, so holding middle mouse button and then shifting it up a bit, so that in the end we have something like this here, and that they are not crashing anymore on the bottom. As you can see, what happened is that it's only selected our front parts, and we want of course to also affect the back parts. So what we are going to do is, in this case it worked quite well still because we chose here the proportional editing, but I will do this quickly just to show you that usually you should always select like both. And as you can see now, when we went to transparent mode to the X-ray mode over here, we select all vertices, and now we can drag them up again like this, and now we fix the crashing on the bottom part. We can do then the same on the top part, but for this one we first go back to our object mode by pressing tab, but for this one there's another smart way how we can actually do that, and this is by selecting our pans. Then we go to sculpting mode over here, and then make sure that you choose the grab brush, and the grab brush is this one here over here, so we will just select them. Then we can increase our brush size by hitting F and then increase our brush, and what we can then do is that we dragging out the parts that right now intersecting or crashing. So as you can see, this is working really well, and we can then drag out just the parts that are here overlapping and crashing, of course also around his pelvis area, so that we do it like this. Maybe as you can see here it's a bit strong from the inside, so we will pull that back as a next step, but hey, anyways, I will do all the other steps for now really quick, that we fix the crashing that we have over here first. Then I will show you the way how to fix the inside. Alright, and as you can see, this fixed most of the parts. By the way, when something is too uneven or unsmooth by grabbing it, what you can also do is that we pressing Shift, and then we can actually smooth our mesh over here. So this is really effective when you have something that is uneven or you would like just to smoothen it out. Then you can do this easily by pressing Shift in with the brush, and then you can change the strength over here. You can also do that, by the way, to adjust the strength of the smooth brush, is that you go over here to use unified strength, and then we can also change the radius here, and then it will be not that intense to smooth out parts, which will be crucial for this part here later on. But for now, let's fix this part over here. So what we can do then is going back to layout, then selecting our inner mesh, going back to sculpting, and then I will just choose the grab brush again, and then we can push this in here a bit so that it's then working. So like this. And the great thing in 3D is, as always, like when we have something on top of it, for example this one here, and we know the belt won't move that much, we can then just hide it underneath there, and it doesn't really matter then what is going on underneath. So I think this is great. Alright, and once we have that, next step is now that we can also smoothen out these sharp areas over here. This is also of course very useful for 3D printing, for example, in case you would just like to keep the high poly or work with the high poly, and this is then really great to fix those areas. So first thing, because we imported this one as a GLB file, and with GLBs the vertices are never really merged, so what we need to do is first going into edit mode. Then as you can see, they are all selected by default. Then we go right click, merge vertices by distance, and this will clean all the vertices that are not connected yet. And as you can see, we have a huge number of vertices that are removed by default because they got merged with the closest vertice that is next to them. And as you can see, now all vertices should be merged, and we should not have any holes in our mesh anymore. And next thing we can then do is that we now fix these areas, and to do that is that we first going to remesh our model over here, and we will do that because when I would now paint on it, just to show you really quick, so when I go to sculpting now and then just choose the smooth brush over here, it's working, but it's still not super great because the mesh is not remeshed yet. So I will show you quickly a way how to adjust that, and we will go back to layout. Then I will choose a modifier here and choose then the remesh modifier. Make sure that you have the body selected over here, and as you can see, we have to adjust the voxel size now to get more detail in our mesh again. Be careful with the size here. The lower you go, the more heavier will be the operation. And I think 0.1 is already a great value, you know, where we have all the details still in our mesh. And on the other hand, we can now adjust, for example, this uneven areas over here. Maybe we can go even lower, but let's see how far we can go. Maybe this. Okay, 0.05 still worked, and I think this is a great value to go on with and continue. So we will just apply this one. And now what we can do is that we go into sculpting mode. Make sure then that you choose over here, enable this setting here with the unified strength. Then we can scale it down a bit. And now we can, around his eyes, just smoothen it a bit, maybe make it a bit stronger. So like this. And as you can see, we can fix then up those parts that they get way smoother. And we get then this nice defined shapes over here without the kind of crisp parts that we had before. So let's do it quickly. By the way, we can also enable here symmetry because our model is symmetric already, which is great. And as you can see, when I paint now on his eyebrows, for example, to fix that, we will save a lot of time because we do it that also on the other side then as well. So this is also great. So maybe let's zoom in like this. And then I can really quickly fix all those edges here and parts that are not smooth right now. Okay, great. And once you have done that, as you can see, we have now this really smooth face, which is awesome, and don't have this uneven or unsmooth edges, let's say it like this. Okay, great. And this is then our final cleaned up mesh. And as you can see, everything is working now. We don't have any intersections anymore, just a small part, which I will fix now in a second. But apart from that, it's working great already. And we have a very great base now for the retopology part, which we are going to do next. So I really hope you enjoyed the second part of this series. Let me know in the comments in case you have any questions, and I will try to answer them right away. Also make sure to join our free Discord server and our pixel artistry newsletter FutureFrames so that you stay up to date in the world of AI to 3D generation. Having said that, see you on the next one.